Hello and welcome everyone to our the Hindu newspaper Analysis Townhall. Today, June 23, we are going to see the following topics. First, US attacking of Iran's 3 nuclear sites. So US entered the war of Iran and Israel. Second, expansionary policies in slowing economy. How government of India is following expansionary policies to tackle the slowing economy. Third, India trails in critical technologies like AI, semiconductor, and space. We'll see how India is trailing behind. Then, commissioning of INS Tamil. Then, last, Indian economy amidst global travel. How Indian economy is performing and what India should do during the global uncertainties which are currently going. Okay, so let's start. US attacks Iran. Finally, US entered the war between Iran and Israel. It attacked 3 nuclear sites of Iran: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The main thing is US uses its B-2 Spirit stealth bomber and bunker buster bombs, 14 GBU, to destroy the nuclear sites. So here we will see first what are these stealth bomber and bunker buster bombs, then these 3 nuclear sites, and then we will see what is the impact on India. Response to this, Iranian parliament has votes to close the Strait of Hormuz. We covered this in the last analysis we did on Saturday. How Strait of Hormuz is important for the global trade. Then PM or Prime Minister Modi also called the Iranian president and calls for immediate de-escalation. So let's see. Firstly, these are the 3 sites. These are important as such questions come in exam, like places in news: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Fordo was the major nuclear enrichment site where uranium was being enriched. It was basically made like these mountains, an underground facility. So it is not possible to hit this site with the normal bombs. So US used its stealth bomber. What is this? It is the fighter jet latest technology, the next generation technology. What are its capabilities? It is a long range. How much? More than 11,000 kilometers without refueling. And it can go on all altitudes. It is almost impossible to detect it because it is made with stealth technology. What is stealth technology? Basically, stealth meaning doing something secretly. So here the radar is not able to detect it. Iran did not even get to know that B-2 bomber has entered its territory. It has the facility or capability of aerial refueling. It can carry payload of more than 40,000 pounds. Then in these fighter jets, US used its GBU-57 bunker buster bomb. This bomb weighs 13,000 kgs. It can hit targets secured in underground facility, which was the case in Fordo. It can penetrate up to the depth of 60 meters. It is 20 feet length and 31 inches in diameter. So with the use of these stealth bomber and bunker buster bombs, US destroyed the 3 nuclear sites in Iran. The major contention between Iran and Israel is that Iran is developing its nuclear weapons. And Israel and US do not want this. This is the major contention. What is the impact on India? See, first of all, trade disruption. One of the major impact. How trade disruptions happen? Basically, as Iran is threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz. In such uncertain times, what happens is the shipping cost increases. How? The shipping companies increases the premium cost, insurance premium cost. Also, the time taken by the ships, as the clearances take time, there can be disruptions, it increases. So it leads to increase in transportation cost. leading to oil prices. What is the impact on India then? Imported inflation. Also, India imports its oil, so if the price increases, adverse current account balance. So its current account deficit will increase. Second, India exports its basmati rice. Basically, out of the 100%, 20% approx is exported to Iran. So the export has been impacted. Second, India needs to balance between Iran and Israel. India has good relations with both the countries. From Israel, we take technology in agriculture, defense equipments. Iran, a diaspora is there. We import oil, but currently we import very less oil from Iran. Few years back, the scenario was entirely different. Now we are more dependent on Russia, and we have also diversified our oil imports towards Russia and United States. Next is INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor. See this image. This is to connect India to Russia. It goes through Iran. It shortens the time taken to transport goods from India to Russia via Iran. It will get impacted very badly because if there is no stability in the region, investment will not come and it will not be completed. Second is Chabahar port. We have been seeing this from a long time. Chabahar port in Iran. See, this is Gwadar port of Pakistan and this is the Chabahar port. India wants to bypass Pakistan to transport its goods to Afghanistan and Central Asia. So it has the option to go through Chabahar port, then Afghanistan, and then connecting the Central Asia. Both these projects come under threat, come under uncertainties. So this is how India is impacted. India has launched Operation Sindhu to bring back its citizens from Iran. Next, this Strait of Hormuz. Let's see here. This is Strait of Hormuz. Almost more than 20% of oil of the world is transported through this. And Iran has threatened to choke this. Even the parliament has passed the resolution to choke it. The narrowest point in this is only 33 kilometers wide. So this is the impact. Next, expansionary policies in a slowing economy. This is a very important article. Very, very, very important article from prelims point of view. Many questions come every year or almost every alternate year from this topic. So here what it is showing is that India is witnessing a slowing economy as compared to the last 3 years. And India is following expansionary policies to tackle this. We will see what is expansionary policies, how government is doing it, and what are its various impacts. This is what is discussed in this article. What are expansionary policies? Expansionary policies basically meaning that you expand the money supply in an economy. That is the very basic and straightforward meaning. The way to increase money in the hands of the people is expansionary policies. It can be done in 2 ways: expansionary fiscal policy, expansionary monetary policy. Monetary policy by RBI, fiscal policy by the government. Fiscal policies. How India has been doing fiscal policy expansion? See, it can be done in 2 ways. Either government expenditure is increased. Just imagine the government schemes which are run by the government. If government increases the spending, for example, Manrega. If government increases its outlay from say current 70,000 crores to 1 lakh crore. Extra 30,000 crore rupees will go in the hands of the people. This is how you expand the money supply. Second, reduction of taxes. Recently, in the last budget only, government has increased the threshold of income tax exemption limit to 12 lakh. So earlier, a person earning more than 5 lakh had to pay taxes, for example, or 7 lakh. But now the limit has been increased to 12 lakh. So a person will be having some extra income which can be used to buy goods and services. This is how money is increased in the hands of people through fiscal policy. Second, monetary policy. Monetary policy meaning RBI reduces interest rates. Recently, only in June, RBI has reduced repo rate by 50 basis points. What is the impact of this? First of all, EMIs of people go down. That is, if earlier I was paying, say, for example, 50,000 per month, now if I have to pay 45,000, so 5,000 extra is in my hand. Second, borrowing cost goes down. If I want to borrow money from banks, then I'll have to pay interest rate. If repo rate goes down, interest rate goes down. So borrowing becomes cheaper. What is the impact of borrowing? Now let's see what are the various impacts of these things. If borrowing increases, borrowing cost goes down, investment will increase because I will borrow more to investment. If investment increases, what will happen? Labor demand will increase, wages will increase, therefore inflation will increase. Similarly here, if EMIs goes down, disposable income increase. If disposable income increase, I'll spend more, therefore buy more goods. Therefore, inflation, because the demand has increased. Same here. If more money in the hand, this will follow. So this is how money is being given in the hands of the people so that they can consume, and economic cycle can be reversed and can lead to more economic growth. But the article says that the government has been following expansionary fiscal policy and expansionary monetary policy, that both are expansionary current now. So what is the impact of this? It can lead to inflation in the long run. What usually happens is, when a fiscal policy is expansionary, monetary policy is usually contractionary in nature. This is what is happening in UK and US recently. For example, in UK and US, if you see, tax rate cuts have been there, but they have been followed with a reluctance to cut interest rates. Interest rates have not been cut. But in India, fiscal policy is expansionary. It means when taxes were reduced, so people had more money in their hands to buy. If they have more money in their hands to buy, demand should have increased, but it has not increased. Monetary policy reduced interest rates, investment should go up, but is it happening? Recent SBI report indicated that credit growth basically credit being taken by the people from the bank, it has fallen to 3-year low of 9% in May 2025. It means there is a decoupling of the demand and spending from the fiscal and monetary policy. This is what the article is discussing. The opposite of expansionary policies is contractionary. Here government will reduce expenditure, increase taxes, interest rates are increased. See, one more impact of increasing government expenditure. It can lead to high fiscal deficit for the government. Okay, so let's move on to the next article. Yes, this is another very important article which reflects how poorly India is performing in terms of the critical technologies. This is basically an index which has been released from the data sourced from Harvard Kennedy School. Okay, this is important for your prelims. What this index does, it takes into consideration 5 technology sectors. 5 tech sectors. What are these sectors? Artificial intelligence, biotech, semiconductors, space, and quantum. And it has given certain weightage to each. Like AI has 25% weightage, biotech has 20%, semiconductor 35%, space 15%, and quantum 5%. The observation which comes out of this index is, out of total 25 countries which were considered for the ranking, US comes at number 1 in overall, China at second, Europe at third, and India at 10th. India has performed very poorly. See, what are the various reasons of US leading, China leading? See, US leads in all 5 sectors, powered by deep investment. US has been investing heavily in its research and development. China, investment, but state-led investment. What is the issue with India? See, let's see what is the issue with India. What India is doing? India spends only 0.67% of its GDP on research and development, while this figure is 2.4 for China and 3.5 for US. There is a stark difference, and out of this, more than 60% is by the government. So there is very less participation of private sector in research and development. So India lags behind in almost all of these: AI, biotechnology, semiconductor, space, and quantum. These technologies are very important for the future, because future we know is chip-based, AI-led, and space and quantum-led. So if you lag behind these, then you will lag behind overall in the long run. So these are the observations of the index. Okay, let's move on to the next. Yes, stealth frigate INS Tamil to be commissioned on July 1st. INS Tamil. What is the importance of this? This is the last warship of Indian Navy. Last warship which have been built outside India. Yes, from now on, India will not build any frigate outside India. In this, 26% components are indigenous. Such questions are important from prelims point of view. A statement can come that more than 50% is indigenous in INS Tamil, which will be a wrong statement, including the BrahMos long-range missiles. The important thing in this is where it is built: Kaliningrad, Russia. Let's see its location. Okay, Russia shares border with various European countries like Estonia, Latvia, Belarus, Ukraine. But Poland is very far away, right? You can see it. Does Russia share border with Poland? Yes. Where? Kaliningrad. This region is Russian region and it shares border with Poland. Such questions come in exam. Baltic Sea. Does Russia share border? Yes. So this region of Kaliningrad, this is important for your maps and locations in news. Here it has been built. The frigate is 125 meter long and its weight is 3900 ton. Okay, next article. Indian economy amidst global troubles. There are global troubles going on. We'll see what global troubles, how Indian economy is doing, and what India should do to steer its economy. The context of this article is shifts in trade policies. What are the various shifts in trade policies? Trade war, US imposition of tariffs, then this we saw Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz. These are trade policy shifting, as in how various alternatives need to be looked, because if it can happen now, it can happen in future also. So trade policies cannot be built on some things which are very vulnerable to various geopolitical tensions. Geopolitical tensions all across the world. US entering into the war of Iran and Israel. On second front, war of Russia-Ukraine still going on. Third, rising cost and disrupted supply chains. So what happens is, see, on India under these contexts, the impact is because of US. Because out of the total merchandise export, India export 20% to US only. So any change in tariff policy, trade policy, geopolitical tension by the US, India's exports are going to get a hit. So in this article, 3-pronged strategy has been suggested. What India should do? First of all, India should manage its external shocks. Second, it should ensure domestic economic resilience, managing external shock at one end and managing domestic economic resilience at the second. And third, leveraging the opportunity to increase exports. How? If US is imposing tariff on China, so the countries have to look for alternatives. So India can avail this opportunity. So what India is doing and what India should do? First is early engagement in bilateral trade agreements. This is what India has done. This is a very good thing. With US, the negotiations is going on and it can, give us an output anytime soon. It is very important for India, as we saw 20% of exports goes to this country only. Second, India did free trade agreement with the UK. Good thing. Need to do with European Union also as soon as possible. And also certain agreements with countries like Australia and some regions also India can consider, like RCP, which India earlier decided to not go with. Third is anti-dumping mechanisms. If US is not buying from China, then China will try to dump its goods anywhere. So if China tries to dump its goods in India, then in that case, Indian domestic market will be hit. So India has to come up with anti-dumping mechanisms to counter this problem. Next, public capital expenditure, which in the 5 years have increased from almost 3 lakh crore to 11 lakh crore. It should keep going, as for two reasons. First, investment is important. Second, to incentivize the private sector. Monetary policy should keep moving itself in the direction of being accommodative. Accommodative as in, it should not increase interest rates. Either it should keep the interest rates low or it should decrease them further. Next, potential foreign investment, China +1. Projecting India as an alternative to foreign investments as compared to China, Vietnam. These things need to be done. Apart from that, at domestic front, India should look for increasing its PLI scheme for other sectors like IoT device, battery raw material, hearables and wearables. So amidst global troubles, this is what India should do. So this is done for today. I hope you people are studying good. So keep studying, keep working hard. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.